Hey, thanks for listening. I'm David Yak here, and this is Yak About Today. So now, I've been thinking, have you ever wondered how the vitamins and nutritional supplements you take each day affect your overall health? So I've been reading one study that says they do nothing and you should get all your supplements from the food you eat. Another study has you swallowing a dozen different vitamins. Well, I've got Dr. Stephen Lewis. He's a chiropractor with a long history of helping people achieve their maximum potential. So today, we'll talk about the use of dietary supplements and how they affect your overall health. So that's what we'll yak about today. What's up, everybody? David Yak here for Yak About Today, hoping you are better, healthier, and more informed than any generation that came before. So if the years 46 to 64 mean something to you, then this is the place you want to be. Now put your headphones on, go for a run, and listen to what we yak about today. All right, we are back. I'm David Yak here, and you're listening to Yak About Today. And as promised, I've got Dr. Stephen Lewis, and we're going to talk about science-based nutrition. I want to welcome you, Dr. Stephen.
Hey, it's good to be here.
All right, so listen, I noticed I wanted to start off with something you wrote on the front page of your website. And the reason I want to sort of quote it is because we've got this audience that we call the wiser and more mature audience. And I think this sort of states what we're going to talk about today. And you write, can you remember how good you felt 5, 10, or even 15 years ago? If you don't make a choice to do something now, can you imagine how the next few years will alter your home life, hobbies, and your ability to support your family? And it's interesting because down in our communities down here in Florida, where we record, that is often the conversation at the dinner table. It's sort of more or less, saying, oh, I wish I could do what I did 15 years ago. Or why does everything ache now? Or, something's wrong. There's always, it could be indigestion. It could be feeling low, that type of thing. So if there is information or you can direct us along the right path of getting us to feel the way we did 5, 10, or even 15 years ago, that would be great.
Oh, I tell everybody it's simple, but not necessarily easy. But I'm 63, almost 64, and I feel better than I felt 20 years ago. But, the old joke is, when I said, do you remember? It's like, well, if you can remember to take your memory pills, do you really need them? But yeah, if you put targeted nutrition in, you can certainly feel good again.
So, it's interesting. You just brought up memory. That was a big topic. That's always a big topic around here. And in fact, I think it was about a month ago, we had somebody called a memory athlete. I believe it was Brad Zupp. And the reason memory is so important, and if you can speak to that, that would be great, because the funniest conversations that turn out to be not so funny is when we say, I just walked into this room, but I can't remember why.
Yeah, I understand.
And that, I'm sure that has to go somewhere between your health and nutrition and all that type of thing.
Yeah, it really does. And I tell people, first of all, de-stress and declutter your life. We have too much information and too many things going on, and forget to get quiet and rejuvenate. But that being said, we have a lot of toxins in our environment, and there's certain nutrients. Of course, the FDA, doesn't think that nutrients can help anything. But my thing is, when, as a society, did we forget that our body's built by God and smart enough to heal itself if it has the tools to work with?
And those tools are, I guess the tools are what is the saying? What you put in your body is what your body becomes, or that type of thing.
That's true. And another thing I tell people, well, okay, you're taking a supplement, but is it a good one? And there's, unfortunately, a lot of mediocre to not really out there. It's kind of like your ex. If you've ever had an ex, people laugh at that. It's like, well, you had a good one, you had a bad one. Well, supplements are the same way. So to put out the fire of brain degeneration or neurodegenerative diseases, first of all, you have to have a really good fish oil. And again, there's broad range of qualities out there. Fish oil, B12. And people say, well, I'm taking B12. Well, it's cyanocobalamin. It's not going to absorb. It has to be methylcobalamin. And then, there's genetic issues. But that's what I do. I figure it out and, put it all together.
So did you, and I'm not sure if my memory serves me right. So do you have specifics that you recommend? Did you create like the perfect combination of these vitamins and, or do we just go online and we have to research this type of thing?
Well, you can get too much information, and the old adage of too many cooks spoil the soup. So I tell people, get someone that knows what they're doing, somebody that you feel good about intuitively, and trust them. There's a lot of different ways to approach it. My father-in-law is an incredibly young, 81. He acts more like he's 50 or 60 maybe, and he started losing his memory. And he called Janet, my wife, the real smart one here, and says, well, da-da-da-da-da. And Janet says, okay, take these two things. And one of them was, a Memory Pro, and it has a lot of different things in it for memory and cognition. And the other one's called methyl CPG, which is a huge dose of the good kind of B12. And it's got B6, which helps the happy hormones cross the blood-brain barrier. And it has something in it called 5-MTHF. Half of us have a genetic problem, and we cannot utilize folic acid. And as soon as these type people, as soon as they get on that and get the right dose, oh my God, they just bloom like the most beautiful flower in the world. And I started taking it, and I felt kind of bad for 5 or 6 days. And then it was like, oh, Jesus parted the clouds and the angels started singing, because once my body started getting rid of all the nasty stuff, that's why I felt bad for 5 or 6 days. Janet can tell you the one day I don't take that one pill, she says, oh, you're not as happy, you're not as energetic. And yes, targeted supplements can make a difference, but it could be different for a lot of different people too.
So this is your specialty in your practice.
Yes.
Right. So if somebody, where are you based?
We're Longview, Texas.
Okay, in Texas. So if somebody comes into your practice, they make an appointment, is it sort of the same routine or the same process that you would go through with, let's say, a general practitioner? So I walk in, I meet my new general practitioner, and in this case, it's she. And she says, okay, we're sending you out for a complete array of blood tests. And I think just the general blood tests, but a few extras to see where you're deficient and things like that. And then, I come back and she tells me, well, she used to tell me all the time I was really healthy. And now she says, if you don't start watching these things, we're going to have you on a cholesterol supplement or whatever it is type of thing. But is it that same routine, and the way you approach it is both through sort of, I guess, chemical science and holistic science, or a combination, that type of thing?
Well, I think quite a bit different, because I have people all over the country that get on the website, order the lab, or they can call me first and we'll talk. And, I'll say, well, this lab might be more appropriate. And I do a very large amount of lab, because I don't involve insurance companies, and I give it away right at my cost. And so I can do more. So if you throw a bigger net, you're going to catch more fish and find out what's going on. And then, after the people get the lab, I put it in a computer. I spit out a functional health or functional nutrition report that can go 60 or 80 pages. And then I just give the people 30 minutes of my time and say, well, this is not ideal, and this is what it should be, and it could be related to this and this, and here's the proper supplements to allow your body to take it, run with it, and begin to get healthier. So it's more of a holistic, functional nutrition approach.
Well, that's interesting. Before we take a break, I do have one more question. I hadn't
Mhm.
realized, it hadn't even occurred to me that given, the technology now that, if somebody found you or you were recommended, no matter where they lived, they could go into like a Quest or a lab and they would do the blood tests and everything, send them to you or give you the results, or how does it work?
It's actually a little bit easier than that because Janet she's a genius. You buy it on my website, and then I use Quest because Quest is probably the best. I use LabCorp somewhat in Texas, but we'll send you to Quest, and then it's automatically emailed back to me. And there's people that are looking at it in case there's something really really wrong. We'll call you immediately, but that's rare, but it can happen. And when it comes in, then we contact the people and, we start emailing back and forth, and we'll send you a link where you schedule 30 minutes with me, and we'll talk about your blood work and talk about what supplements would target the things that they have told me and target the things the lab has said.
All right. So before we take the break, I want to make sure I get this in. Tell my audience how they can get in touch with you: web, email, phone, whatever you got.
Well, it's greenwisdomhealth.com. And some people find this funny, but the email is Janet at Green Wisdom Health. Uh, and people think they're just talking to her. Well, I answer most of the emails because she's way, way busy doing other things, keeping this business afloat and making sure everything runs smoothly. So, I answer emails from about 6:30 in the morning until about 9 at night. So just Janet at Green Wisdom Health, or just do greenwisdomhealth.com.
All right. So we're going to stop here, take a break for our sponsor and for our supporters. And I am talking to Dr. Stephen Lewis, who is married to the genius Dr. Janet Lewis. So we're talking about science-based nutrition. We'll be right back. I want to take a moment to talk to you about New Vision Eye Center. For the last couple of years, they've been a sponsor of this show, and I couldn't be prouder. I've met so many people that have walked up to me and thanked me for recommending them. I hear all sorts of stories about how they've worked miracles. And as you know, I've been a patient of New Vision Eye Center for years. So when I say go see Dr. Minotti, Reinauer, Tate, and O'Brien, it's because I wouldn't trust my eyes to anyone else. All right. It's David Yakir here, and you're listening to Yak About Today. And we are back with Dr. Stephen Lewis, and we are talking about science-based nutrition. And there are a few things I'm really interested. Actually, before I do that, in looking at your stuff, you make a big case about the thyroid. I'm not sure I ever understood the thyroid, and I'm not sure a lot of my listeners really understand the thyroid. Yet, all through our lives, it has always been mentioned as sort of the cause of everything. It used to be, I remember when we were young, before there was an obesity problem in the country, when somebody was heavyset, they would say, oh, they have a thyroid problem, that type of thing. So you always hear about it. So maybe you can tell us about the thyroid and what's going on there and how should we be, I guess, taking care of it?
Well, it is a major contributor to many, many different ways that we don't feel good. I think it's misunderstood, at least from a natural standpoint, is we have so many chlorines and bromines and fluoride in our environment that they're called halides in chemistry. They take the place of where iodine should go in the thyroid. And even if you consume iodized salt, you probably don't get enough iodine. And that's why the thyroid can be in a common range, but not optimal range. It can contribute to obesity, but we have to be realistic and look at our diet. Our diet's too much of too many bad things that's full of glyphosate or Roundup. And I think America's making a turn toward more natural, more organic, and fewer chemicals. But the thyroid can contribute to how your heart beats, how your stomach digests, whether you have constipation or diarrhea, how you feel mentally. So it is very, very vital to understand it, where most of your doctors will run TSH, which is just thyroid stimulating hormone. That's not even the thyroid. That's the signal from the brain. And I don't know, smarter or probably not as smart. I have to do 5 parts of the thyroid so I can understand what's really going on. And that's just normal on my test. We do 5 parts of the thyroid unless it goes really crazy, and then we'll do more. But and you put in iodine when it's appropriate, but you have to put in other things like B vitamins. You have to put in zinc and selenium, B vitamins. Most people don't get enough B vitamins. Even if you're taking a supplement, it's like, well, it's probably not a good one. So you have to have that to convert the hormones and let the thyroid function. It's incredibly important.
In supplements, I always had a question. You always read the studies where people say, well, you should be getting all your supplements from food.
Right.
And, are the ones that you find in your corner, Walgreens and CVS, especially the ones that say 2 for 1 type of thing, are those supplements worthy of getting? Or I mean, I wouldn't know how to begin to research the quality of supplements.
And there are some places on websites that you can you can Google them, and it's like, oh my God, they're recommending some really horrible brands. No, they're not worthy of buying, in my opinion. And when a doctor tells you can get all your nutrients out of your foods, you need to run like crazy, because either they're not being honest or they don't read their own research. And boy, that's harsh when I say that. But, there was a study, for example, said St. John's wort does not help major depression. It's like, no, it doesn't. But, neither does Zoloft. And the study was financed by the drug company that made Zoloft. And it's like, but St. John's wort is absolutely incredible for mild to moderate depression. And B vitamins, for example. Lack of B vitamins is really common, and this is from New England Journal of Medicine. Lack of thiamine makes the blood-brain barrier more leaky. People that have lack of thiamine usually have too much yeast, and they'll say, I don't know, I just got tired, depressed, and I have brain fog. And, you have to do the proper thiamine. Lack of B vitamins causes psychosis. That's from British Journal of Psychiatry. And it just goes on and on and on. So any doctor that says you can get it all out of your food, no, there's a Senate document in 1936 that said our soils were depleted of its minerals. It's like you can't get it out of your food, even organic, which is an improvement, but it's not complete.
Now you sort of, I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but you've got me thinking about it. So I thought I was being really great by adding my Centrum 50 plus into my morning routine every morning. And now I'm sort of looking at it and going, uh-oh. All those people, when you go to the gym and all that, and people have these vitamin packs, those little plastic packs that have like 20 pills in it and
Right.
all that. And I'm sitting there going, well, I take my Centrum, so that should do it for me. And I think what you're saying is it's not doing it for me.
Oh, not even close. Just because it's well advertised doesn't mean it's a quality vitamin. And I'm an East Texas redneck, and I like to say things in a way that people remember it. And people say, but I'm taking this and this and this. And I said, listen, I've been married to the sister of Jesus, and I've been married to the sister of Satan. All women's are different, so all vitamins are different too. And I know that's crazy, but vitamins are so vastly different in what's in them. Is it available? And most of them are synthetic. The cheap ones, it's like, oh, stay away.
All right, so we're going to have to sort of contact you and get my vitamin routine going. Also, so I also noticed, and this is something I did not understand, and it goes back to the thyroid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Autoimmune problems are attached
Yes.
to the thyroid. Is that when they talk about autoimmunity and, illness, isn't that thyroid based, or is there an autoimmune particular to the thyroid? If I'm
Well,
asking that right. Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, that's a good question. We're getting more and more. autoimmune diseases, they're not always attached to the thyroid. You have lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and Sjogren's, but Hashimoto's is the one that's contributed to. It's in autobodies. Antigens against the thyroid. Some of the experts say that's because of the gluten, or the increase in gluten in our grains, especially wheat. And we go back to research. There's a research article that says wheat can cause schizophrenia through gut irritation. That's from Journal of Biological Psychiatry. I read a lot of research, and I have a pretty good memory. Hashimoto's, and sometimes I'll test if the numbers on the thyroid are a little bit crazy. I'll add on a TPO, thyroid peroxidase, and if it has those antibodies, then there are things you have to do to stabilize the immune system so it will stop attacking itself. And, I'm a chiropractor and I love the natural medicine, but some people come to me and they're so anti-medical. I said, you should not be anti-medical. The medical profession does a lot of really good things. It's just that we're missing the natural aspect of health.
Okay, for our broadcast audience, we are going to have to leave it there. But to listen to more of our interview with Dr. Stephen Lewis, go online to yakabouttoday.com. That's yakabouttoday.com. And remember, many of the subjects we talk about come from you. So if there's a subject you'd like us to yak about, let us know, and we'll find the experts to help you out. So write to me at david@yakabouttoday.com. And also, you can reach us on Facebook, Twitter, and virtually every podcasting system worldwide. Just search for Yak About Today. And until next week, yak amongst yourselves, love you, and peace.
Take out the papers and the trash, or you don't get no spending cash. If you don't scrub that kitchen floor, you ain't gonna rock and roll no more. Yakety yak. Don't talk back. Just finish cleaning up your room. Let's see that.